बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, जैसा कि आप सब जानते हैं कि इस वक्त अफ़गानिस्तान एक बार फिर नाजुक सूरत हाल से गुज़र रहा है। अफ़गानिस्तान में मुकम्मल तब्दीली आ गई है। अमेरिका और नेटो की फ़ोर्सेस अफ़गानिस्तान से निकल गई हैं। तालिबान ने अफ़गानिस्तान का कंट्रोल संभाल लिया है। तो इन हालात में आंखें जो उठ रही हैं वो पीपल्स रिपब्लिक ऑफ चाइना की तरफ उठ रही हैं और पाकिस्तान की तरफ उठ रही हैं। और जिस तरह के आप जानते हैं कि पाकिस्तान और चाइना दोनों करीबी दोस्त हैं, तो हमने ज़रूरी समझा कि इस मौका पर चीन की और चीनी क़यादत की सोच से आपको आगाह करें। हमारी खुशकिस्मती है कि इस वक्त अफ़गानिस्तान के लिए अवामी जमहूरिया चीन के स्पेशल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव याओ याओयांग हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। याओ याओयांग जो है वो पीएचडी डॉक्टर हैं। उन्होंने इंटरनेशनल रिलेशनशिप्स में डिग्री ली है, फिर उन्होंने सफ़ारत की ज़िम्मेदारियां अंजाम दी है। उर्दन में, कतर में सफ़ीर रहे हैं। यूके और आयरलैंड में भी उन्होंने सफ़ारती ख़िदमात अंजाम दी है। और भी बहुत सारे उनके तारुफ हैं कि वो डिप्टी डायरेक्टर पॉलिसी प्लानिंग रहे हैं चाइना के वज़ारत ख़ारिजा में। तो इस वक्त वो अफ़गानिस्तान के लिए अवामी जमहूरिया चीन के स्पेशल एनवॉय हैं। तो आइए नाजरीन उनसे गुफ्तगू का आगाज़ करते हैं। एक्सेलेंसी, व्हाट हैपेंड इन अफ़गानिस्तान? I am referring to the takeover by the Taliban. So was it a surprise for you people?
Thank you very much, Ms. Safi. It's an honor and a great pleasure to be here to do this interview. So first of all, may I take this opportunity to express my highest respect for my audience in this great country. It is a first-time visit to your beautiful country, which I long for, and for this television, I also thank you to give me this opportunity to connect us as a team on the issue of the Afghanistan, and also between China and Afghanistan people, which really attach great importance to this all-weather strategic cooperative partnership, which have given us both peoples so much benefits and progress in our cooperation. We come together to this political solution, efforts for the political solution of the issue is another evidence for this all-weather strategic cooperative partnership between China and Pakistan. Regarding to your question, may I understand as such that this tragic situation of the war for 20 years and also on the recent change, on the one hand, we all hope it will end as soon as possible in a peaceful way and to the will and respect of Afghan people. On the other hand, in the recent change, some people put it as dramatic change. Some people put it as significant change of Afghanistan. That is, Taliban entered Kabul, and we see a new situation. Not many really people expected it will happen this way. But I think all the countries, especially China, Pakistan, and the neighbor countries and the regional countries hope it will have a peaceful settlement, political settlement, and will bring the opportunity for Afghan people to hold fate in their own hands and to have the peaceful reconciliation and to find a way to build, construct, reconstruct their country themselves. So let's see. There are still some uncertainties. There are a lot of uncertainties there. Let's work together. I have been working and communicating with my counterparts, the special representative like Mr. Safi in this country. We have become very good friends, and I had a conversation with him just yesterday, very good talk, and also some other neighbor countries and regional countries.
Excellency, now this mess which was created by the US and NATO forces, or we can say by the Ashraf Ghani government, the world and the Afghans, they are looking towards China. Not only China is now emerging as the world power, but also the neighbor of Afghanistan. So China has declared to work with Taliban. So will China also going to recognize the government of Taliban?
Very good question. I think this question includes many very meaningful, very good elements. I like to say in this way. First of all, the hasty and irresponsible withdrawal of American troops and NATO from Afghanistan is the major factor for the disastrous situation, the chaos of Afghanistan. Many people, many countries, we also said that the United States should take major responsibility for such a situation, the chaotic situation. For 20 years, they put troops there, and and now they have without appropriate peace arrangement or political reconciliation prospect. They did that hasty withdrawal. It is really a very irresponsible way to do this. We hope that the United States should draw lessons from this and to redress the mistakes. And the United States also maybe the biggest factor for outsider, and in the future, in the current efforts for the political settlement and the political solution of Afghan issue. We do hope they will not repeat the mistakes. This really shows that in the international arena, to use power politics, to use military means to solve the problem, and to intervene sovereign countries' domestic affairs, it always causes more problems than solve the problems. This we repeatedly tell our American counterparts. They really have to seriously think about it. In the new era of international situation, international relations, we should handle there are complicated questions. There are a lot of issues, but to use military force, to use the power politics, and to use the pressure approach is not a good way. Another thing, your question, if I understand correctly, that now the situation in Afghanistan has indeed had a significant change. And on the one hand, Taliban, we have met them, and our state councilor and foreign minister met Taliban delegation in Tianjin, and we also in some other occasions, like in the Troika +1 China, Russia, United States, Pakistan play a very important role in engage Taliban and other political forces in Afghanistan. That is the major stakeholders in all these days and months in Afghanistan to facilitate peaceful solution and the peaceful reconciliation and the political settlement of Afghan issue. Just now I said, on the one hand, we see some progress in Taliban side. They have said they will military solution is no option, and that they are in favor, and they will do political settlement, and they will do the inclusive government of the future political setup. We also, and they said, they promised they will, with the other forces together, to continue to fight against terrorism, which is very important not only for Afghanistan, but also for the neighboring countries. As we always said, the future Afghanistan should not be to be a place, to be the safe haven of the terrorism. It must make a clear break, to clean cut off with any terrorist groups. Of course, in China, we have our particular concern about East Turkestan Islamic movement, ETIM. Yeah, I believe in Pakistan, in other neighboring countries, all have the different particular concerns, we understand. So the position to fight against terrorism is a must. And they promise that. And also, we hope, we speak to them that the current political settlement process and the future government should be inclusive, there should be moderate and sound Muslim policy. Put it in one sentence, the future government should have the support of the people. It serves the people. So it is a comprehensive, widely covered, inclusive government. And last but not least, this government will be internally promote and to work for the independent reconstruction, peaceful development of the country. Externally, will be friendly on the neighbors, and will not be the threat. Will not to make the Taliban to make the Afghanistan as a threat to neighbors and to region, to international society at large.
Excellency, but in the previous Taliban government, we found that the sanctuaries of ETIM were there, and their leader of that time, Abdul Haq Turkestani, he was also hiding in Afghanistan. And now the Security Council have mentioned in its report that few hundred ETIM workers, they are still living in Afghanistan. So did Taliban give you any surety or guarantee that they will not harbor the ETIM people in their controlled area?
I think politically, the leadership of Taliban, they gave the words, and they promised they try to make they will, and they are, make the clear break with or from the terrorism, and to have the clear cut off. Of course, we not only listen to the words, and we listen to the words, and we also pay more attention, and it's more important to see the deeds. So for Taliban, as you rightly mentioned, in the past, international society and some political forces in Afghanistan, they know they also have their lessons they have to draw upon. And my view is, we look at this Taliban now as an important Afghanistan political and military force. They are having an opportunity to be a constructive and a positive force for the current solution of the Afghanistan problems. And they have that historical opportunity, and they should seize this opportunity to lead and guide the country together with other political forces, to include all the people, to represent the unity of the country, the unity of the people, with all the different religion and the ethnic groups, to build the country. We not only see their past, we pin the hope of their future. We do not only listen to their words, we also see the deeds, what they did. So it is a process. It is a process. We are in the middle of that. Internationally, I think international arena, the international community should also to encourage all the positive trends and elements of the country, including Taliban, and to together, international society, the regional countries, the neighboring especially, we, both China and Pakistan, are important constructive neighbor countries of Afghanistan. We should unite to have the message speaking out, also to encourage the constructive and positive elements of this country, which have suffered so much over the past 20 years, the 40 years, and the 70 years. And at the same time, we try to help each other, while we always remember that we should respect to their sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence for their opportunity to govern their affairs in this really critical moment.
नाज़रीन, एक मुख्तसर सी ब्रेक, वापस आएंगे तो अफ़गानिस्तान के लिए चाइना के स्पेशल एनवॉय के साथ ये गुफ्तगू कंटिन्यू रखेंगे। एक बार फिर खुशामदीद आपको जिरगे में। आज के जिरगे में हमारे साथ हैं अफ़गानिस्तान के लिए अवामी जमहूरिया चीन के स्पेशल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव Yue Xiaoyong. Excellency, there is another complication. On the one side, Taliban are promising for an inclusive government, but at the other hand, they have announced once again the formation of Emirates or the Emirat Islami.
Yeah.
But in the Troika Plus meeting in Moscow, in the joint declaration, the China, Pakistan, Russia and the United States, they have declared jointly that the Emirat Islami will not be acceptable. So now in this situation, is still there any possibility that China can recognize the Emirat Islami?
I'd like to thank you for your question. It's also a very good question. I think many countries, international society are thinking about the question every day now. I think they themselves are also think of this question. They hope to be recognized and accepted by international society. They have shown their really desire and aspiration to be accepted. This is a good thing. So I like to put it in the way that we see two sides. We listen to their words And they said they are going to do this and to do that. We really see what they do. We really see the deeds. And they gave this name and that name, but we see how you constitute your country. Constitute it politically, socially, and how to really, in your actual deeds, you, as you said, you include other elements of the society, of the country, and to really to have a workable, peaceful, inclusive, operational, accepted by the international society. And first and foremost, it must be accepted by your own people. This is any government, any political structure, you have to be sustainable. It is not a one-day business. It is 100 years business. It has to be predictable. It has to be sustainable, to let people, your own people, really to be secured, to be stabilized, to mobilize. Any society, any government, the best is you can mobilize the energy and the dynamo of your people to contribute to the construction of the country, to the construction of the state. So all this, we present this to them, and in our contacting them and engagement, in our contact to previously to the Republic, also to some other political personalities and the political forces, we say the same thing. It is not only to Taliban, it is also to any other political personalities, leadership, the leaders of the society, and the forces. They all have the same aspiration and inspiration, and the international society, I think, neighbors have the same hope for them.
You are rightly talking about the neighbors. So will China adopt any unilateral approach towards Afghanistan, or will China going to synchronize its policies and approach towards Afghanistan with other neighbors, particularly with Pakistan?
You mean Afghanistan or Pakistan? Pakistan.
Towards Afghanistan,
yeah.
Will you going to synchronize your policies with Pakistan?
Yeah. Let me say this, that we really enjoyed and appreciate all the positive effort, all the efforts made by our Pakistani friends and partners. This is really in all the fields across the board. This is all-weathered strategic cooperative partnership. As I like to put it, that this strategic cooperative partnership gives us a very good political trust and the foundation for our current efforts, our joint bilateral, multilateral efforts together, always with Pakistan, to work on the issue of Afghanistan. On the other hand, we also, as you rightly put it, we have other neighbors like Pakistan and China, which are two important neighbors, and we have other 4 neighbors too. In my trip to these countries, and I meet the leadership of them and my counterpart, they all have the same desire and aspiration to want to participate in this peaceful reconciliation and the political settlement process of Afghanistan, and that they all like to see how to seize the opportunity of the peace, seize the opportunity through this peace, the economic, business, and investment opportunity, to have the opportunity really to be materialized as the prosperity, common prosperity, and to find new opportunities to have the connectivity, one belt, one road, cooperation, the transportation, the fighting against the pandemic, and the joint our efforts for the global change, and also for a new technology era. So we have a lot of things in neighbors. At the same time, we also participate in all other possible constructive regional and international efforts. As you said, in the United Nations, which is really a core of the multilateral efforts on the base of the United Charter. And also we have, if you go around, you have all this process. In Turkey, you have the process of the Istanbul conference. In Russia, in Central Asia, we have the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization Afghan liaison group meeting. In Iran, in Turkmenistan, in Uzbekistan, in Tajikistan, they all have that, either their initiative or their participation.
But Excellency, the only active forum for Afghanistan future, that is TRICARD Plus, where United States is also a member. So why not you are going to form a forum of the regional countries under the leadership of the great power of China?
If I understand your question correctly, we are actually discussing how to mobilize effectively all the possible regional, neighboring, international forces to join the efforts for the peace and the reconciliation and the settlement of Afghan issue. I think each country, as I said just now, we respect the sovereignty, territorial integrity and independence of Afghanistan, and that's why we insist that we should follow always Afghan-led, Afghan-owned principle, as indicated and advocated by the United Nations also. And also there are some any other efforts is legitimate so long as you are going to help. Of course, just now we said about the military means and some other power politics or geopolitics, some old way of thinking, though those things are really not a choice. Some people may say, well, you also want to solve the problem and they are used to have the high-handed sanctions, measures. This is pressures. This is not Chinese way, you know. We like to have always for international conflicts, we like it to have political means to solve it. Like we have a saying that you can say you are a doctor, you want to cure people, you have good purpose, but you use the wrong means and you cure the patients to death. You cure him to death, or to cure him to a more serious situation. You cannot always say, well, my purpose is good, but only I cure him. Then you begin to deflate.
But Excellency, I will put my question another way, that if United States is part of the problem, or we can say the main source of the problem, so how can it become a part of the solution?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I want to put this question to my American counterpart too. That I think the core is whether they draw lessons, whether they learned. That's why we said it is obvious that, use your word, it's a blunder. You have committed a blunder, but now is whether you can redress the blunder. America is still major foreign factor for Afghan issue. They cannot just throw this question away and you cause the problem. You should come to solve it. You cannot just throw this problem to others. Of course, we all participate in solving this problem. As long as you address your mistakes, you come to a peaceful way to solve the problem, you are welcome to join the efforts, which is peaceful means political settlement and respect the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence of Afghanistan. Just like the Charter of the United States have said the purpose and the aim of United Nations Charter. That is the respect. There are problems, many problems in international arena, and it will have problems in future. But you follow what principle in what means to solve a problem not of your own. It is not your domestic problem. Even in domestic problem. Yeah, and this is another sovereign country. We should let the people in the final say, the decision is finally, in the final analysis, we should respect the Afghan people's will and what they want and how they reach the point they have the political reconciliation and they have the inclusive government for themselves.
नाज़रीन, याओ याओयांग के साथ ये खुसूसी जरगा जारी रहेगा एक वक्फे के बाद। एक बार फिर खुशामदीद आपको जरगे में। आज के जरगे में हमारे साथ हैं अफ़गानिस्तान के लिए अवामी जमहूरिया चीन के नुमाइंदे याओ याओयांग। एक्सेलेंसी, on the one hand, the American and the NATO, they invaded Afghanistan. They committed a lot of human rights violation.
Yeah.
Then they make this irresponsible withdrawal and they created this mess. But now, on the one side, they have freezed the assets of the Taliban government, and they are also going to sanction them.
Yeah.
So in that situation, what will be the response of the Republic of China? Are they going to compensate? Are going to fill the vacuum of the United States and the NATO countries?
We do it our way. I think in this process we should cast away the old way of thinking, the geopolitics, the word like you use, the vacuum of something. This is a textbook of old colonialism and imperialism. They use the vacuum, they use the sphere of influence. You have a lot of jargons of that. But for the relations now in the now our age, we should cast away this old power politics thinking. For China, as I said, number one, we really respect the sovereignty and the territorial integrity, and we want to keep on the Afghan-led and Afghan-owned principle. At the same time, we like to work with them to stop the war, to prevent the violence, to facilitate the peaceful reconciliation, to have the inclusive government, to have the political settlement, to have the sustainable governance of the country, to fight against terrorism, to prevent the country again become the safe haven of the terrorism, become the threat of the neighbors, or to prevent the spilling over of the chaotic situation to other countries. All this, we are in the middle of that, and we try our best to help. And while we really need to cast away the old thinking of the power politics, to have this so-called narratives of power politics, like a vacuum, the sphere of influence. We should really guard against some forces to play up this, to take a normal, constructive peace process into another thing, to take advantage of this for some other purpose.
Excellency, how do you see the economic potential of Afghanistan?
Personally, I'm really positive for one reason. They have you like Pakistan as good neighbor. You have already achieved. If they really compare Pakistan's achievement and to their own 40 years, 20 years history, they have a lot of things to learn from you. You have this open economy, you have this a good cooperation, you have this what they call the economic corridor, one belt, one road. You're open to the world. You achieve much greater economic prosperity and progress than them. And you look at their neighbors. All the neighbors, as long as you have this, like China, have the effective government, strong leadership, and people-oriented governance, and the open economy, keep reform yourself, and really serve the people, you enjoy this prosperity. And now, Afghanistan, they have their own good natural advantages, agriculture, the minerals, and their industrial potential. And then in the north, they have the Central Asia countries also are ready to help. They also have one belt, one road, the construction and development. They said to me that they want to connect their achievements downwards towards Afghanistan. And Iran, they have their thinking to connect Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan in the south. So they are in a better position in a way that they have these neighbors ready to help economically, ready to have the business to do with them, and ready if they have the really peaceful, stable situation. China is also ready, like our state councilor and the foreign minister once said, to have the economic opportunity, share the economic opportunity with them, and to connect the economic corridor in Pakistan with them. So a lot of
yes, my second question was that the main source of hope for economic prosperity in this region is the BRI and the CPEC. So would your government considering to expand the CPEC to Afghanistan?
Yeah, that question, let's leave it to the business and the entrepreneurs. And in time, I think Chinese, I believe, Pakistan entrepreneurs, they are already keen on the opportunity and the potential to join, to participate in the development and the prosperity opportunity in Afghanistan. And also maybe jointly together with neighbors across the region to have this cooperation and prosperity.
Last question, Excellency. Now, for the time being, President Joe Biden blamed Ashraf Ghani for this mess.
yeah.
But the Afghans,
everybody,
they are blaming the United States. But in the past, we witnessed that the Western media and the Indian or some of the proxies of India and Afghanistan, they were blaming Pakistan.
Oh.
You are part of this Troika Plus process, and you are witnessing the situation for the last so many months, and China is a great and well-aware power of the region. So, how did you find the Pakistan role? Or Pakistan was working for peace and stability in Afghanistan, or Pakistan was part of a problem?
Pakistan, I don't think Pakistan is part of a problem. You are part of the solution. In the international arena, you know, there are some countries, they always want to deflate the responsibility to others. If something wrong, they always find the scapegoats or responsibility to others. Especially, you will find something you are doing good and better, you get more people to deflate the responsibility to them. You have to get used to this. And at the same time, you present your case strongly with friends, with neighbors in the international society. And I believe Pakistan is a great country and has done so much for the regional peace and the stability and the security. You have contributed a lot to the solution, political solution and the political settlement. That is for the peace, stability and the development of Afghanistan. And now we really do hope Pakistan really, based on what you have achieved, we together with China and others, all the neighboring countries, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, and also other countries, international society, to in this critical moment of Afghanistan, to make your greater contribution to the peaceful political settlement of Afghan issue. I'm confident.
Excellency Yue Xiaoyong, thank you very much for your time. You were very open and very candid, and I understand how much you will be busy, and in spite of that you give us this honor and opportunity. So I am very thankful from my side, from my team and from GEO organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I learned a lot, and I think this cooperation between China and Pakistan will again enhance our all-weather strategic cooperative partnership.
We hope this, inshallah, this will continue.
Yeah.
Because
inshallah.
inshallah.
Shukran.
इजाज़त दीजिए, अल्लाह हाफिज़.